Hello Year 3 and welcome to your second phonics lesson of the week. We're going to start by looking at our focus graphemes from our book. We're going to say them using my turn, your turn. Ooh, 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 ooh. Poo at the zoo. And we had a second focus grapheme that we're going to look at now. Book, 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 book. Look at the book. I'm going to show you these and I want you to say what you see. Now I'm going to put them in my set of cards. I'm going to shuffle my cards, and when I show you the cards, I want you to say the sounds. When you see our new graphemes that we have been learning today, I want you to give me a sparkle. Well done for sparkling. Well done for sparkling. Now we are going to look at our story green words. I want you to read the words looking for the special friends. Then I want you to use your Fred fingers to help you Fred talk the word. I want you to see if you can do this by yourself today. Hansel. Hansel. Your turn. Gretel. Gretel. Your turn. Munch. Munch. Crumbs. Crumbs. Goose. Goose. Thumb. Wrist. Wrist. Path. Path. Salt. Now I want you to have a go at these words for me. And to fold them so you break the word down into the syllables and then put it together as a whole word. I'll start with this. And then put it together to get the word supper. For the next one, I'm going to show you the first part. Now I'm going to open it up. Now I want you to say the whole word. Satin. Say the first part. Say the second part. Now put it all together and we have the word gooey. Say the first part. Now say the whole word, and the word is cabin. Break down the first part. Break down the second part. And say the whole word. Broomstick. Break down the first part. Now the second part. Put it all together and say the whole word. Gloomy. Break down the first part. And now the second part, and put it together to have the whole word. Say the whole word. Clumpy. The last one. Oven. Now we're going to practice reading our speedy green words. As I point to the word, I want you to say the word. Are you ready? Let's start with our first word. Well done. If you would like to, you can pause the video and practice those words again by yourselves. Let's have a look at our red words. I'm going to point to them. As you see the red word, say it. Are you ready? Let's go. Well done. How did you get on? If you'd like a little bit more practice, then you can pause the video and have another go at saying our red words. We're going to have our second read of our storybook, The Foolish Witch. I'm going to read it and I'm going to stop so you can jump in with the missing word. So you need to be following really carefully so you can jump in with the missing word. The Foolish Witch. Hansel and Gretel were lost in the... Sobbing, they set off along a narrow below the tall trees. Soon Hansel called Gretel a log cabin, but the walls were not logs, they were toffee. The windows were not glass, but sweets. Hansel and Gretel began to on bits of a cabin. Mmm, said Gretel, scooping up the crumbs. But just then a head popped out of the bathroom window. A tall black hat, a spotty chin, a long yellow... It was a witch! You look hungry, my poppets, she. Let me give you some food, and I will give you a bed for the night too. So, and Gretel had a very good supper. A fat with fresh mushrooms and beetroot. That night, in a sweet little bedroom with a clock on the wall, they slept on soft beds with satin sheets. She must be a good witch, Hansel said to Gretel as they lay in the moonlight. But she was not. The next day she was in a very bad... She flung Hansel into the gloomy hut where she kept her. Stay there until you are good and fat, she screeched. Then I will cook you and have you for lunch. As for you, she said, prodding Gretel in the chest with her thumb, go into the kitchen. Off you go. We're going to feed Hansel up. So Gretel sat on her and cooked bread and buns and milk puddings. The witch put on her clumpy boots and took the food to the hut, pushing it in at the window. But Hansel, the witch, when she asked his, as proof that he was getting fat, he stuck a twig out of the window. The witch felt the twig. Too thin, she screeched, but I will still. She dragged Hansel into the kitchen. She looked at Gretel. Salt into the pot. I will cook you as well. Get into the. I will fool the witch too, said Gretel to herself. To the witch, she said, I can't get in. You must show me the best way to do it. So the witch and stuck her head into the oven. Quick as a flash, Gretel pushed her in from behind so that she fell right in. Gretel grinned as she slammed the oven shut. She called to, and they ran and ran and ran right away from in the woods and the wicked witch. Now, we've got some questions to talk about today. I've got Mr. Fox here. So I'm going to read the question to you, and then we are going to go back to that page in our text. And you are going to find the answer to the question and tell Mr. Fox what the answer is. So our first question is, what was the log cabin actually made of? So I need to go back to page 9. Can you find the part in the text that tells us what the cabin was made from? Have a little think and tell Mr. Fox what the answer is. So the walls were not logs, they were gooey toffee. The windows were not glass, but sweets. So the log cabin was made from gooey toffee. Let's go back for our next question. Minute. So our next question is, what did the witch look like? And I've got to go to page 10 to find out what the witch looks like. Can you read the page and tell me what the witch looks like? So she was a tall, black, spotty chin and a long yellow tooth. It was a witch. Well done for finding the answer. Let's go to our next question. Our next question is, and you need to tell Mr. Fox the answer to this, how did the witch help Hansel and Gretel? So we've got to go to page 11 to find our answer. So how did the witch help Hansel and Gretel? How did the witch help Hansel and Gretel? The witch helped Hansel and Gretel because she gave them a very good supper. What else did she do? She gave them somewhere to sleep for that night. So she let them sleep in a bedroom. Let's look at our next question. What was the witch's plan all along? When we get to page 12, I want you to have a think about what the witch's plan was like. Have a think about what the witch's plan was and tell Mr. Fox what the witch's plan was. Oh, the witch's plan was to feed Hansel up. Why did she want to feed Hansel up? She wanted to feed Hansel up so that she could eat him up. Our next question. When we get there, I want you to have a think and tell Mr. Fox, why did Hansel stick a twig out of the window? So why did Hansel stick a twig out of the window? And I need to go to page 13. Let's go back in our book. So why did Hansel stick a twig out of the window? Have a little think. Hansel put the stick out of the window because he wanted to fool the witch. So Hansel fooled the witch because she thought he was still too thin when she felt the twig. Our next question, I want you to find the answer. How did Gretel persuade the witch to get in the oven? Tell Mr. Fox when we get there. So how did Gretel persuade the witch to get into the oven? See if you can find it. That's right. Gretel wanted to fool the witch. She told the witch, I can't get in. You must show me the best way to do it. So Gretel was tricking the witch as well. And I think we've got one more question. So our last one to have a think about and explain your answer to Mr. Fox's. How do you think Hansel and Gretel were feeling? Let's look at page 15. Oh, she called to Hansel and they ran and ran and ran right away from the cabin in the woods and the wicked witch. Have a think. Tell Mr. Fox how Hansel and Gretel were feeling. I think that Hansel and Gretel were feeling relieved that they had been able to escape the wicked witch. I will see you tomorrow for our last phonics lesson of the week. Goodbye for now.